Hello and welcome to the B Button, episode 27, baby. We are over the 6-month hump. And it's all downhill from here. Joining me as always is the man himself, Angry Link. How you doing, buddy?
The Angry Link.
Yeah.
Yeah, changed the
from the legendary and all the other phrases.
Yeah. It's just the D. So
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be legendary, there can only be one.
True.
Like the Highlander.
Yeah, but you
But without
are
obviously-
original.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so.
They broke the mould after they made you.
Well, it was a stark warning to the rest.
So, gaming this week, what's been going down?
Well, it's been a good week. Holiday from work, yay. Obviously, it's almost over. That's sad.
Sad face.
But I've been trying to be productive this week. So I've been opposed to sitting around playing video games. I've been decorating, which obviously was quite frustrating because it took me 2 days to move all of my crap and books and shelves and DVDs and clutter, and I've still yet to cull all of that and go through and put a match to it.
How did the wiring go?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was quite easy because it was just a case of all of my wires. It was just like, right, get rid of it all because I barely use all of my sound system anymore. So I'm just going to go get a sound bar. Hopefully I can do Bluetooth headphones through one and do it that way.
See, for me, it's like Spidey's had a little sploosh behind the back of my TV. It's a nightmare every time. It's like a full-on project.
Yeah, it is. That was the only good thing about decorating is obviously you get to sort of declutter everything, and it looks nice around there. It doesn't, like you say, look opposed to like something from the Matrix. Where he's gone to the fucking the old machine city. Yeah.
It's that shit Ethan
But
here.
no, I have actually managed to do some gaming though.
Really?
Obviously, not been sat down gaming. Been rocking the fuck out. Obviously, Rock Band's been mashing that up again.
Mentioned it last week. Now you've been on it, yeah.
The solos, mate. I have found out though you can obviously turn it off so you don't do the freestyle solos. You can actually try and do it hardcore, and go old school.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that option was there.
No. I was thinking because some of the solos are just really good solos.
Oh yeah, I missed some of those actually.
Because you're like, I want it to sound like it does and how it should.
How I played it before, yeah.
So that's good. So I found that out. But yeah, smashing the freestyles out. Tried a bit of the old Earthlock. I can't remember the subtitle. I could have checked and written it down, but I just put Earthlock tired old subtitle.
Fuck that.
It's a bit meh, if I'm honest. But I haven't played much of it, so I haven't really given it much of a fair crack.
The artwork looked enticing, and then when I actually looked at the game, I was like, meh. That was my noise, meh.
It's one of those. It kind of reminds me a bit of Tales of Symphonia, in a sense, but it doesn't look as good.
Certainly doesn't.
Because obviously Symphonia had that great.
It was amazing, cel-shaded.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good look. But yeah, I'd sort of be tempted to give it another go, see how it looks and see how it pans out. And then there was just more decorating. So it's pretty much been that. But
didn't you finish off your books?
Yes, I did. Oh yeah. Smashed out the rest of the damn matchy.
Yeah. How was it? Did you get everything you needed from it?
Well, obviously I caught up to where I'd seen into the anime because that was the first season all covered. And then I had the book after. So yeah, it was one a bad little story.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Just annoying. I've got to wait for the next ones to be translated, and that's not out till December. So it's a birthday treat.
Patience is a virtue.
It is a virtue, but yeah. Obviously, just back to work next week. We've got to finish off some decorating.
These things happen, Link.
Yeah,
some of us have to work. We can't all be the jet-setting playboy entrepreneur millionaires that you are.
At home, pushing a roller around the ceiling.
Hugh Hefner style.
Yeah. Well, what about you though, mate? How's it been going?
It's been a week of one game and one game only. Destiny.
Yeah. Getting back into it. Getting the pre-iron.
The pre-rise. the pre-rising. Yeah. I don't know if that's a semi-lob-on or whatever it is. Either way.
The hope of a erection.
A hope of a lob-on. So I've been waxing Destiny. I've just been trying to get myself back up on the level-wise, sort of sort all my guns out. Obviously, the last time I played this, you can level up your gun by saying, I've got a 295 gun, and I put it into like an exotic, and it came out as like 291 or something like that, depending on how far away you were. But now it's like for like, so you get the 295. Great. So now I can really start making the weapons into what I want them to be. So I've been on that. And also, this weekend, right now, Zer is selling Bad Juju,
Nice.
but the year 2 version. So it comes in at 280, and then I chopped a 312 weapon into it.
Sweet. 312 Bad Juju.
Yeah. Although, what I would say is when I first got it, I never had it in year 1 when everybody else played it. So I've heard the legend of the Bad Juju, and everyone was going like, "Oh man, you got to get it and for PvP and all this sort of shit." And I got it, and it's a pulse rifle, so it fires in 4 bullet spurts, and it fires fully automatic straight off the bat, so it's keeps firing. But it had a hell of a kick on it, and it didn't hit very hard, and I was like, "What's so great about it?" And then as I leveled it up all the way through, I got to the point where I got the brace frame on it or something like it, which massively stabilises it. And the last bonus you get is that for every kill you get, it automatically reloads the gun, like straight away. So you just when you go into like a room full of Gregs, as we like to call them, dregs, you just rinse them. It's like a never-ending clip. You're just killing it. Literally.
And it's like with pulse rifles as well, if you can get you can get some good hip fire on it.
Yeah.
Even then the headshots is just 3 headshots, bam bam bam.
And distant shots, you aim at their feet and just hit the whole body, last shot's their head, It's solid, man. So well into Destiny. And then all my other time in between, I've been caught up in a Canadian TV show called The Trailer Park Boys, for those who've seen it. Watch it, it's great. There's like 9 seasons of it.
So there's a lot of value in it.
Yeah, watch it. It's on Netflix. Other video providers are available.
Can't imagine they are, but it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was awesome. So well worth it. Now, this week, as we've already taken the better part of 10 minutes to sit here and talk about it, we've got to be quick because we've got a huge Uncharted this week. It's all on the big Sony conference. So we're going to pile through it. And as we do, we're going to bust straight on over to Bullet Bill's Big 3. Baby, yeah, gotta love a bit of the news, Link, gotta love it. So we're gonna dance around our main subject because we're gonna hit Uncharted with that, but there has still been a fair few things going on this week.
Well, yeah, there's
some big announcements.
It's been an awful lot of chafe. I suppose it's been tough to sort of find the wheat, really, of the news.
Yeah.
We found some funny old subjects to chat about, but some of them we had to dismiss.
Well, we were just like, I guess that's something, but there's also been some, how should I put it?
Megaton.
Yeah, Megaton news just kind of slipped into a different industry. But anyway,
well,
let's hit up our first bullet hole before we massively splooge our load.
Well, obviously, it was one that I don't know if I sent you the link midweek, I can't remember now. But I noticed it, and it was a game, I don't know if it had been announced previously, but it's the first I've seen of it, called Happy Manager. It's coming to PlayStation VR. Okay. It's going to be out in winter of they reckon 2016, so I'm assuming that's Christmas.
Right. So you're some sort of manager of a shop or something then?
No, you're a building manager. Yeah.
Right, like a university or something?
No, it's just players take on the role of an apartment building manager.
Right.
Of just 3 women.
Where's this game originating from?
Japan.
Yeah,
of course. It's one that I can't remember where I read it, but the phrase "it's distinctively Japanese" comes to mind. It's just a brilliant way to describe, like the same way that you would Galgun.
Right, yeah. So there's some games that, for example, you pull out your 3DS and you play Mario at work, but this is not safe for work game.
Probably not.
Right.
Saying that, to go off topic, I was in Game, the store.
The stores are available, yeah.
And I'm chatting to the guy about a PlayStation 4, see what they're if there's any news of a price cut coming from them and all of that stuff. and I looked down at the counter, and I noticed behind the counter what is the very, very top game. But Galgun for the PlayStation 4. I had to chuckle. I did have to chuckle.
Didn't even know that was in there. How are they selling that with the screen wipe, which is a pair of panties? How? But anyway.
That was for the Vita one.
Oh yeah, damn.
But anyway, back to the topic.
Happy Manager.
Yeah, Happy Manager. Obviously, it's a VR game, so conversations will be in first person.
Right.
The building that you reside over has facilities such as a gym. And a swimming pool, which obviously, as there being a gym and a swimming pool, leads to having to need a locker room. And this is where you'll get what is described as happening events, where you will sort of, air quote, accidentally bump into the girls.
Oh, come on, man. This is straight porn from VR.
I should suggest that they are women. They're adult women. But,
right.
Yeah. Obviously, the other note that was in Famitsu. Obviously, this is where the details have come from, by the way. Famitsu magazine.
Right. Okay.
It has over 28,000 lines of recorded dialogue.
Fuck, that's quite a lot.
But yeah, and there's a small profile of each of the women that you'll be.
Oh please, yes. So these are
managing
the ones
their apartments.
I'm taking care of, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So obviously you have Shizuka Sakurai.
Oh,
she's 20 years old. She comes from a rich family, so she's a bit of a princess. She has a kind personality, but is a bit daft and lacks common sense with people.
Right. So basically, she was saying high maintenance, but equally easy
heart's in the right place. She's just a bit of a din.
Yeah, right. Easy to trick. Fall in love with.
As a roundup, obviously in Japan, the drinking age is 21. So her being 20 years old, she's just coming about of drinking age.
Right.
So she is interested in finding out what drinking is like. So she's
why?
So I'm guessing there's going to be a birthday plot line.
Why would this be? In a
come to the bar with me, manager.
Oh God, you're right.
We have the second young lady, Barbara Christine Takibara. Takibana.
Okay.
She is a 18-year-old half Japanese. I don't know what that's any point.
Well, you've got to cover all your bases.
She's not the best at socialising because of obviously the taboo of being half Japanese in Japan.
Right.
She can be cold to new people and seemed sort of disinterested. That's her.
Hard to get. I like the chase. Good.
I think what the term in Japan would be tsundere.
Right.
So it's basically someone who likes you that pretends that they don't like you, is a complete dick to you. But they secretly want a piece.
Or maybe they just want you to manage their apartment.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But what's the apartment? Anyway, back to the point.
Yeah.
The last young lady we have is Himari Takeuchi. She is 21, so she's the eldest of the occupants.
21.
She can drink.
And will watch her.
She tends to get into new interests quite quickly, and she gets to the point where she almost forgets to eat and drink. That's how sort of her concentration gets into those things.
Right.
But she does tend to lose interest quite quick.
Right. Well, I'll be honest with you. That's where I'm losing interest. All in all, I mean, this is one of those games which is just like, it's from Japan. That's all you can say.
It's not tempting you to VR then?
No, because I wonder, at some point in your life, someone is going to walk in the room whilst you've got your VR headset on and you're peeking into a locker room at a virtual girl.
And you can't see the lob on you've got.
Yeah, exactly. They can. And you're stood there with technology on your face and your dick in your hands. It's
like, oh God, VR porn, really?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not porn. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, exactly. Right, moving swiftly on to our second bullet hole for this week is...
some bit more wholesome and family-friendly fun.
Yes, slightly. So this was big. This was huge. And on somewhat of a tangent...
Well, there was another big technology company
so
announcing
Apple was
stuff.
doing their thing this week. They were up doing their conference, announcing their new iPhone 7. Other phones are available. And they opened it by saying, guess what? We've got over 500,000 games available in the App Store right now. And the new one we're going to add to it is... Super Mario Run. Nintendo have made their way into the gaming space properly this time. They're doing their first official big boy title, big IP. They're the IP of gaming IPs,
Yeah.
Super Mario Run. This is no surprise. We saw it coming, didn't we, with the Miitomo app and
Yeah, I think it was an inevitability until Mario came to smartphones. Obviously, I think it was Miyamoto, and in the interview, because obviously he was there, wasn't he, as well? He said in the interview it made sense for him to bring it to obviously the iPhone because of the structure of the iPhone. The hardware is very similar, and they approach it in a very similar way to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny actually because all in all, Miyamoto was amazing as he always is, and brought a lot of fun and like interest to the actual announcement. He does well on stage.
The same way that Peter Molyneux has got a lot of energy and enthusiasm, but it's misdirected.
Yeah.
Miyamoto's he's still got almost that boyish grin,
Very
and
much so,
cheekiness, and he's just a giant kid that's having fun. He just happens to have grandkids.
Yeah. I mean, you can see he just loves his job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, he was up there and he was saying that one of the key things now about it is the fact that you can play it one-handed. So Mario will constantly run. You've still got your typical Mario level from beginning to end, flagpole at the end, but he'll run on his own, and you'll hit the button and hit the screen, and as long as you hold it down, makes him jump higher.
Yeah, the same the classic Mario gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
But without the running.
Exactly, and what they've done is they've added some arrow blocks in there to redirect him occasionally on the screen when you need to. It looks good, man. It looks solid, and and Miyamoto was joking because he was saying that basically you can now do it whilst eating a banana or eating a burger, or and he kept sort of like just reading off these different things. So, yeah.
Saying that, did you ever play the Rayman Jungle games, there, Jungle Run and all of that? Them
I did, yeah.
They were really, really good as well.
They were excellent, and in fact they then port them to the consoles afterwards.
I don't know if they brought them, but they were. If they're anything to go by, then they'll be solid. I think it's it's an inevitability.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously it's coming to iPhone.
No set release dates, no set prices yet. They've done something that I've not seen before, where they've got like a hit the button and we'll notify you when it comes out. But it's just plastered all over the shop at the moment.
iTunes store.
Yeah, and on the slight sub note, we've also heard that Pokemon Go is coming to Apple Watch. Yeah. So just basically allow you to collect Pokestops on your wrist, or to see how far you've got in your egg collection.
And plus, so you don't have to keep getting your phone out and looking like a twat.
Yeah, unless of course you want to catch something.
You could then put your phone to your steering wheel.
Yeah, exactly. It makes driving in Pokemon a lot easier. We do not recommend that. Okay, so busting on to our third bullet hole
just
for this week.
Quick rewind you on there, mate. Amiibos to smartphones as well. Nintendo were talking about that.
Really?
Yeah. So that again, you can bring to the billions of people that own a smartphone. You can buy Amiibos and they can be worthwhile for you now as well. You don't even need to own a Nintendo console.
How convenient. How convenient.
So third bullet hole.
Yeah, what we got?
Horizon 3 demo. Completely went under the radar. You told me about this today, and that was big news for me because it's releasing on the 11th of September, which is just around the corner.
Tomorrow.
Well, yeah. Obviously, Horizon 3 is just around the corner. It's only like a week or so away anyway.
Yeah.
But still, I can play some 3 and not have to worry about having to pay for it for a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously, like you said, it's 11th September, so tomorrow for us as we record. It's 19 gigabyte download. Don't know how much of it's going to be available.
I don't know really a great deal about it, do we? It's just like some stealth demo release.
Yeah. I was really surprised that they released the demo, given that, why didn't they just do like a free trial of 2 or something like that, so you can get
I guess they've just done one
game.
though, haven't they, on the 360? Yeah. So
well, that's obviously Games of Gold, which was completely done to drum up support for 3. Yeah. Which is still a solid game. Give it a go. I haven't played it. But yeah, no, really good. Yeah. I'm quite excited. Good to get back into it. I haven't played Horizon for a bit. Hopefully it's a sizable chunk, because I don't know if there's going to be all of it open, or if it's just going to be one of these that you've got like the whole area and there's like 5 things to do there, which I hope that is, because that's a better one.
Cool.
As opposed to a timed one.
Well, we got a little misfire this week, so...
Well, as for the last few weeks, we've seen that there's been the obligatory NX rumour
Every
or
week.
detail. It's literally been, like, say, for the last 4 weeks, just constant, hasn't it?
Somebody's got to get something about the NX on their website to be like, this is news.
Well, I found this via GameSpot, which come via the Wall Street Journal.
All right.
And some analysts, unnamed, they didn't put their name to this, have told the Wall Street Journal that they expect to, Nintendo to, again, this was put in quotes, so I don't know why, release NX details by early October. So they've here's someone's opinion about an announcement for an announcement.
Brilliant. I mean,
So, yeah,
is that an article? Is that even close to news?
It was almost close to a VG 24/7 article I saw a few years ago that was unnamed game developer announces they're making a new game.
Brilliant.
And that was literally the article. It was more. It took me longer to scroll through the ads than it did to get to the story.
Nice touch.
And read the story. But yeah, it's one of those. It's these are going to keep coming, but hopefully it is a case of, because we were saying it a couple of weeks ago, weren't we, that you'll have the Sony big drop. Obviously that's happened. We've got TGS next week.
They're just waiting to get all the big hitters out of the way.
Which, again, just another little pocket of complete or trivial bullshit, but Square Enix are really announcing a new action game. So a new IP, hopefully, or just a new sequel, maybe a Tomb Raider, I don't know.
Fantasies of Final Dream.
I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, so we've got TGS next week, but yeah, I reckon early October sounds about right, maybe late September.
Well, either which way, as long as they hold their delivery date of
Just
end of Q1.
Hopefully it's just solid little sweet console. I'm really looking forward to getting, because I was looking, the 3DS is just looking more and more tempting.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. If it's
keep the money, basically.
If it's backwards compatible, you are going to kick yourself. So.
Well, if it's backwards compatible, yeah, then I don't need to buy a 3DS. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Hold fire.
But they should fucking just do a bloody 3DS thingy, because they'll be able to do ways you can turn a controller around and the screen, and you could have 2 screens. It'd be amazing.
Hold fire.
I'm totally getting ahead of myself, so I'm going to just ask you to cut me off here. And I've got to get angry now.
Well, you sound like... Yeah, you're already getting there.
So like an alligator.
We're going to have to bust on over to some... What's the beef chief, I think?
Yes, we best do.
God, he's getting so vexed. Motherfucker, yeah! What's the beef chief? This is where we lay our meat out on the fucking table. We beat that fucking meat. Frustrations and anger ensue. And this week, it's Destiny, baby.
It's the game we love to hate.
It's the game we love to hate.
Or is it the game we hate to love?
Yeah, either which way but lose.
Just as painful, yeah. Painful either way.
So we all know what's happening. We all know that Rise of Iron's coming. We're not too far away. So... I mean, before I start laying it out on the slab, where are you at with this, Link?
Well, it's one of those frustrating games, because it's a really enjoyable, great game to play, but it's one of those that never always struggle to find a really solid party.
Solid, reliable party.
Well, a good raid crew, basically. So I've obviously, I'm struggling to ask myself, can I get back into it?
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously been away since as long as I've been away from it.
This is the thing, is have I waited too long? I've got loads of catching up to do. So then, is it going to be worth the hassle?
I mean, I was level 300-ish, maybe 308, 307, 305, whatever.
I still haven't even completed the
raid,
Vault of Glass raid or the King's raid.
So there's still a fair amount for you to already do, but either which way, no matter how you cut it, they're bumping things up, aren't they? So they're
Yeah.
going up to a higher level.
335 is it, I think, and then on to, or 330 and then to 335, isn't it, once the hard raids come out?
Yeah, so I think they're going up more, but either which way, they are bumping up the
Yeah.
level, and there's work to be done in between. So is it too late for you? I mean, I think
I
with
don't
Destiny,
know.
you've just got to get stuck in.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because I know they are doing the, if you do the pre-order, you get the level 40, or is that only with the collection?
Right. Well, let me talk to you about pre-orders.
Yeah.
And here
That's a good
comes
segue.
the fucking beef. So earlier on we were talking about this, and I said, "Do you know what? It's coming out imminently."
You would chewing through Destiny again. It's for what it is. It's going to be a lot of content and a lot of hours gaming, isn't
all of
it?
that. And you know what? For anybody who hasn't played Destiny, there is a cracking deal out there.
Well, if it was as good as the Taken King,
Yeah.
then it's worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know exactly what's in this content. Yeah, we've got some ideas. They list sort of new weapons, a new level to load into, a new social area and stuff like that. But we don't know what exactly that is yet,
Yeah.
whether that's worth it. But you can still get the whole game, and when I say the whole game, I mean as in the original Destiny game,
All of the content up until now.
all the content and the
Rise
Rise
of
of Iron for £50.
Yeah.
And for that is a hell of a lot of content for a new game price. Yeah?
So anyone who skipped out the last couple of years is getting a really, really good
Even
good
better
value
than
investment.
what you were getting last year with the Taken
Yeah,
King.
yeah.
So it's all so from that point of view, fine. Now for me, who's been there like Joe Muggins from day one and gone through the whole life
It's
cycle.
Panasonic fucking said like just the ultimate mug beta tester.
Yeah, exactly.
The paying mug beta tester.
That is where we've been, and I just wanted the upgrade. So I thought, right, I'm going to go pre-order the upgrade, and there is a reason to pre-order it now, apparently. So I went to the store, and I went to Destiny the game, just the original game, Destiny.
You think I'll go to add-ons?
You got it. So
Just,
I thought,
yeah.
pop into add-ons, and when I got to Destiny the game, the add-ons didn't list the add-on I wanted, Rise of Iron. So I was like, right, okay. And then in there, it said below it, this game is contained within a bundle. And I was like, right, so I can't buy Destiny on its own anymore? So fine, okay. So I went into the bundle, and the bundle is obviously the £50 Get It All edition. And in there, it says within this bundle is the Rise of Iron pack. Fine, so I click on Rise of Iron.
It's a story we've had to go through with the unfortunate situation on the Xbox store sometimes, is it really is badly at listing content.
Yeah, exactly that. So they just want to sort of like pick more. I'm actually a little bit more cynical than that. I think they're just trying to pitch you the most expensive options.
To see if you're stupid enough to buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've gone to the Rise of Iron update, and it says, you can't get this right now, or you can't. It wasn't available for me to select, but what I could do was it was in a bundle. Right. Okay, and one of the bundles listed under there was the collection up. So the upgrade.
Yeah,
right?
the collector's or collection upgrade. Wasn't it?
Which is basically everything bar the original Destiny game. And that's £33.19. And I thought, haha, how many people would have fallen for that £50 one when you could get it for $33.99 or 19? And I was like, not sure if that's a great deal. And I'm still getting sort of the Taken King, which I've already got.
Yeah. And all of the other stuff as
So
well.
after moneying around that on console store for a long time, I couldn't find it. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to just go to Microsoft's website and search for it there. I searched for it there, and I found it on its own, but the pre-order bit was greyed out, and there was no price. I thought, maybe I need to sign in. So I signed in, and eventually, when I got there, I found out it was £25. And they did everything they could to stop me buying it for £25, which, by the way, I had £5 of credit on my account, so actually from redeeming on points, so it only cost me £19, suck my balls. But yeah, it was just like, you fuckers, you absolute fuckers. I mean, you watched me go through that, and it went on for, what, 15 minutes?
In the time that you was trying to find that, I obviously checked on the PlayStation store. Bearing in mind that I hadn't been on my PlayStation account for such a long time, it asked me to sign in again. I'd forgotten my password, so I had to go through the protracted mess of getting an email sent out. So I changed my password, and all of that time, got it all logged in, and still I think, found that it was there available pre-order.
Yeah,
and just search Rise of Iron.
See, this is the thing. I'm starting to wonder. When Sony bought all the rights for the advertisement, is that still the kind of implications we're seeing now? I don't know.
Well,
how do you do a pre-order?
Speaking of the Sony exclusivity, I did read the other week that I didn't think to fact check it, so it may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Taken King exclusive Sony weapons are exclusive for another year.
So they bought potentially another year's worth of exclusives.
Yeah, so as well as the Rise of Iron stuff that I don't know, that I haven't looked.
There will be though. We all know there will be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Brutal. So some other things obviously been fucking me off as
just
well.
that alone.
So that really pissed me off. But eventually I've got to play it, and would you believe it, folks? After 7 minutes of beating the meat, the actual section is about the pre-patch which has come out for Destiny.
Yeah.
And this is basically teeing up the Rise of Iron.
Again, we saw this last year, wasn't it? But it was the Destiny version 2.0, where the light system changed.
Yeah. So they're trying to rejig things, and they've done some stuff internally, like the menu systems have changed in there now a little bit. Probably for the better. It's actually a little bit clearer. It looks like you got a bit more storage possibly for your bounties and stuff. But
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so they've done a reasonably good job with stuff like that. But some basic things, bearing in mind this is a pre-patch, so you could have tested this better and released it a couple of days later.
Well, there's a hardcore enough community that you can get some what's called as beta testers.
Yeah.
And
they can take all the bugs and the shit and
something that the Division should have learnt a fucking few months ago.
Yeah, exactly. And also you'd think, there's some, at least they're going to catch the really in-your-face obvious ones. First time I turned it on, what happens? Loads of being weaseled out network issues, even though the network here is fine on every other game that I play. But got in eventually and go to sort of the menu screen. At the top of the screen it says upgrades available with that little green sign. I thought, you've upgraded all my shit that I've got at the moment. This is my main character, the one that I put hours into. Went in there and literally every section from my subclasses to my weapons, my armour, my inventory, everything was, well, not my inventory, but everything that you can upgrade
suddenly required an upgrade.
Yeah. Once I went into the section, all my XP was there. I had to hover over all of it. So I've already looked at this.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? You don't notice that before you launched it? You didn't check this? It doesn't feel very well thought out. I mean, I've had nothing but green bloody engrams like coming out the wazoo from my top dog character, and I have had some like the odd blue or the odd purple, but it's like they've completely, I don't know if they've just completely rebalanced the game to say greens are back massively now, and you're going to have to accept that because you were devaluing what the blues and the purples and the exotics were.
Who knows what Bungie are thinking?
Or it was just a massive fuck up. But either which way, I had so many greens, it was untrue.
Because I remember I found a few greens that were really ridiculously high though. Because some of them they still put out, they could get some really good light numbers, but they were just total dog shit, weren't they?
Yeah, these are all capped at like 200.
Oh no, that's it. They were, weren't they? They were capped. Yeah.
Bastards.
It's been that long, I can't remember.
So, and also one of the things I really liked, is when there's a little section on the map now that they've added for the Rise of Iron. Right, this is your access point to the Rise of Iron. Ooh, exciting! I thought, I'm going to go have a look at this, and they have a pre-cinematic trailer available, but you can't watch it unless you buy it. Unless you've bought the add-on, you can't watch that.
It's what we dubbed the £25 trailer.
Yeah, a £25 trailer, and by the way, you get the game with it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it's the pre-cinematic of the game, so therefore possibly you don't want to give away any paid content without...
You're not. That's the stupid thing. I mean, if there's a better way...
To pull somebody in.
Yeah, it's just like, you can watch the trailer that's been out for weeks and weeks and weeks
of
that you can watch on YouTube.
Yeah, with a burning stick, and that's it.
But it's Activision,
yeah,
Bungie. They've sold their souls,
doing their thing. And this is my final bit of beef on this fucking shit, and this is the Galahorn carrot. the Gallahorn carrot. Everybody splooshed about the Gallahorn being the bad boy.
Let's go back and give it a bit of history. Obviously, this was the most revered of all heavy weapons.
Yeah.
This was the destroyer of Crota.
Yeah.
Even on hard mode, people were doing it on their own with just a mere Gallahorn. Some people even crazy and reckless enough to do it without them. But this was the one thing that a lot of people got kicked from raids for not having.
That. It was, do you have a Gallahorn? No. One.
Then Year 2 came. And the Gallahorn was merely wiped and left from behind and merely underpowered. It was still obviously a PvP weapon, but then then come the great bitching of 2015.
Where is't thou, Gallahorn?
Indeed.
And obviously what they're doing now is they're saying, it's back, and if you buy our product, we'll give it to you as a pre-order bonus.
Pre-order our products. Please pre-order.
And they've put the Gallowing in there.
Oh, the hideous fucking
speeder thing
that everyone's going to be loving.
Yeah. Oh God. So okay, I just don't think they need to do it. That's my beef. That's my fucking beef this week.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, isn't it? There's some. I don't know if it's one of those that because of the patch, they need to get the new stuff that the patch was there to take care of. That's what I know that they're
pre-shoehorning this shit in.
Yeah.
But what they're not doing, I mean, just to miss something that obvious, that when you go into the menus, your menus are covered by these green crosses everywhere. Yeah. You just think, who's looking at this shit?
Well, so I think when is this out? Really?
So it's out on the 10th. No, sorry, we are at the 10th. It's out on the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 days away.
10 days away.
No, so you've got a bit of time to get your character up. Are you going to be able to?
I'm getting stuck in. The sleeves are rolled up.
So I might even be tempted to come back and see if there's some strikes that I can still do some damage on.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so there we are, folks. We've got a big chunky Uncharted coming up, which we're going to bust on over to right now, I think.
Yeah, I think we better do, because we've got a lot to go and venture on.
Holy shitballs, here we go. Uncharted Territory, the part of the podcast where we meander around the gaming world and look at all the possible options, but this week slightly more focused, slightly more on topic. Hopefully
we have a direction and an X on the map.
We have a goal, we have somewhere to go, and that place to go is the Sony conference, or as they called it, their
PlayStation meeting.
Nice time.
So we're off to New York.
Yeah.
Or New York.
New York.
With a terrible accent.
Yeah. But so big announcements yet again this week. So they came up on stage. We're talking Andrew House and Mark Cerny at different parts. It was quite a short presentation, 45 minutes of actual on-show presentation, and then afterwards interviews with key members of the Sony company and also with gaming staff, devs, and different games and such like. So a bit different to what they're used to doing, but it was an interesting conference, shall we say. But
we kind of knew what it was all going to be about, though, really, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, most people have been handling the PlayStation Slim for weeks now.
Yeah,
so
well, obviously there was the gentleman that handled them off the back of a delivery lorry.
Yeah, and then somebody handled them on Gumtree, and then somebody handled them whilst they're pulling apart and doing reviews on them.
Yeah, and teardown videos on YouTube.
Yeah, so apparently the PlayStation Slim's coming.
And the best thing was Sony was just like, what? What PlayStation Slim?
Yeah, don't know what you're talking about.
No.
But they did give us a price for it, didn't they?
Yes, and a final release date, which is just around the corner. So 16th of September, you can buy one for £259 sterling. Or sorry, $59.99.
Is that a good price?
Well, it's replacing the standard one, because obviously they stopped the manufacture of the old model now. So they're not making any more of those. It's just what's left on the shelf. So this is the only one that's being manufactured.
They did actually use the terminology on the stage at Andrew House was like, So this will just be like the standard PlayStation 4 now. And I was like, oh, nice pitch, Andrew, smooth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously they announced that. We've got a price point. We also got the announcement of the biggie, the PS4 Pro.
Yes, well, obviously the final naming, which was the Pro.
Yeah, so I liked Neo. I
liked the Neo. I did like the 4K, but then obviously with some of the things that they've not got there, it would have probably been a missell to call it that.
One of the points that I've been thinking about over and over again about the conference, when I've been asking myself, what did I think of it, was that just every one of the Sony staff, bar possibly Andrew House and Mark Cerny, just choked on the name on every interview. Like the PS4, the PlayStation 4 Pro, the PS4 Pro. Oh God! And they were just in every interview
you never know, though,
choking on that name.
They all may have had a speech impediment.
Yes, maybe, or maybe.
And it was just really cruel of the person that named it. It's like, yeah, they've got to go and talk about it. Let's name it this.
It got to a point where they were making jokes about it. That everybody was just going, and some people were trying to cover up, going, "Oh, I'm just so used to calling it the Neo," and other ones were just like, I can't get used to that name on air on their conference. So
nice.
How that got through, I don't know. Yeah. But talking a little bit more about the console itself. So
yes, 10th of November. £349.99.
Yeah.
Which was about the same price of the PlayStation 3 when it first came out.
Yeah, so not a bad price.
I think though that, like, if you were to look in terms of technology wise, something that released 2 years ago, which was obviously the PlayStation 4, the increments in technology that you've gained from it, it's £100 more than the old one.
I mean, let's be honest. This thing is supposedly, or is being quoted as being just over twice the power of the current.
So we'll actually see 1080p, 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
Consistent locked. I bet we don't.
No, it's never going to happen unless you're Naughty Dog or you're COD. It ain't going to happen. Yeah. But yeah, so lots of people have been splooshing over it. What's it got in it? Well, it's got HDR was the biggie. High dynamic range is what everybody is going on and on and on about. But they've done a little bit more than that in the fact that they've crossed all the territories in this generation of PlayStations, where they've actually said they're going to provide us an update to not only the Slim but also to pre-existing.
Every PlayStation 4 will be able to output in high dynamic range.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, there's not many people who are going to have those TVs, but
it's somewhat negates Xbox shouting about the Xbox S a bit.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Let's take the wind out of the sails on that.
Yeah, I mean, but they've also, from a technology point of view, there's some things which are kind of, when I look at it, I'm just like, you've missed some tricks here, surely. So there is no optical output on the PlayStation. See, now I've got it. Yeah. The PS4 Pro. I'm pretty damn sure there is no optical output on it.
The only one that's got an optical output you won't be able to buy soon.
Yeah, exactly that. And for those of you who have some fancy headsets or just generally use it for your 5.1, that ain't an option anymore.
No.
That sucks balls. And the big one for me, where I was just like, what the fuck? They've not included a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
It's their fucking product. Sony, this is your product. What are you doing? You always
this is one of the big technology companies that push Blu-ray.
Yeah.
That ousted HD DVD.
Yeah, exactly. And, let's be honest. They've been pushing this shit. They kicked the living piss out of Sony with their HD DVD or what it was.
Yeah, the HD DVD.
Yeah. And now they're just like, yeah, I'm done with it. And I know you've got a cynical opinion on this one.
Yeah, I think it's a case of there's some people at Sony that are like the division that handles the Ultra 4K Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
That's just basically said you can fuck off if you think you're putting one of our Blu-ray drives in your PlayStation. So you've got even less reason to buy one of our...
Do you know how much money that's going to cost your product? Yeah.
But that could be another case though. It could be... If it added... Would you rather it added another £70 to the price?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You probably don't want it.
You still got to pay $350 and then buy another HD DVD. Bloody HD DVD. Ultra 4K Blu-ray fucking player, whatever they're called now.
But do you know? I think they're just trying to push things more digitally now.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, how many people are still buying physical copies of movies?
No, but this is it. I think the only thing is once it goes up in resolution to the point that your internet connection's too shit, that you're forced to buy physical media.
Yeah, possibly.
But that's only, and collector's editions, and people, like, if you're a really big fan of a movie series, like with your extras and stuff like that, because I think I've said to you before in previous conversations, the minute that you can buy like a whole Blu-ray package on a digital download, that's once physical media is dead.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, until people stop collecting shit.
Yeah.
That's when physical media is dead.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, I mean, you know, the hardware was, to me, nothing hugely amazing. I mean, they talked around a few things. They talked about there's 1080p share play on there now, so I'm playing in obviously 1080p, and if you're watching it, I'm streaming out, you can now see it in 1080p, which is a nice touch. They've also got 1080p remote play, which is a little bit more exciting, where I'm playing my game at this end and I'm stuck on a bit. I want you to take control. You get to stream it in 1080p back to your screen when you're playing it. So I quite like that. It seems like they're flexing a bit of muscle there.
It's almost what the PlayStation 4 should have been, but couldn't, because it would have cost $600.
Yeah, but I mean,
at the time,
overall, their main push just seemed to be the HDR, the high dynamic range.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. Looking at the figures and the text specs, it's not gonna, like you say, it's not gonna light up the board anywhere. But I think that's to reduce disparity, because obviously, to bring it a bit off topic, but the Xbox Scorpio, there's one of the guys that's in charge of the management of development studios, or fucking whatever bollocks title he's got. He was saying that there's sort of like exclusive Scorpio games. Well, if you're doing that, then that's a new generation.
Yeah, it is exactly that.
And they've basically just gone into we fucked up with the Xbox One. Let's just build another one quickly.
Yeah,
we'll just triple the power.
But do you know what? From my point of view, I can honestly say I much prefer where Xbox is going with this, because if you've got the ability to break out 6 teraflops into a console and make some truly phenomenal looking games, gaming experiences, I don't want to fuck around with... Look, I get it. If you've got to release a new console in a shorter life cycle, then do it. But anyway, we kind of go off a little bit off topic here, but I do generally feel like Xbox are in a better position. Overall, just generally, I know we're a year away yet, at least, but...
Well, I was actually sort of thinking, this is one of the points, can Xbox and Microsoft, can they sort of start sitting easy knowing that the Scorpio will be quite a bit more powerful?
This is what I think is going to happen.
Sorry, to sort of footnote and underline that point, is this almost similar to the Dreamcast scenario that we saw with the PlayStation 2, where people were like, well, I'm not going to buy a Dreamcast because, one, I can't get FIFA, and 2, well, the PlayStation 2 coming out in a fucking year.
Yeah.
And so many people I knew, it was like, no, seriously, just go and play, just look at some of the games. Even like 6 months after it come out, there's some fucking blinding games for it. Such a good console, but it's just such an unloved one.
Yeah, I mean...
what do you reckon?
I don't know, I just think they're in a funny place with this, and I personally would have liked to have seen Sony would do what they do best. I mean, let's be honest, if you look at the console generations, they always seem to jump back and forth about who's kind of doing their bit.
Well, it almost seems that...
on power, you know.
Yeah, you go back to a point that one goes, right, we're going to release a bit ahead of you and give a bit of a jump start. And then the other one's like, right, well, we can't let them get a jump start on us this time, so we're going to have to release early. So then obviously it just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, PlayStation 4 with its PlayStation 3 with its cell technology.
Oh, that cost them fucking billions.
And you know, they made a phenomenal console, didn't do a damn thing with it. No. And then this time...
No, they made a phenomenal chip and then did fuck all memory.
Yeah.
And just really hindered the whole thing.
But, so, you know, it goes in different cycles, we must admit. But in this one, it seems like Sony have kind of said, we are staying in this generation and we are making sure that if you can play it on a PS4, you can play it on a PS4 Pro. If you're playing online, you're going to get the same results. We're only going to make things look prettier on their screen. We're not going to make the thing communicate quicker, and therefore you get advantages time-wise. And they want to keep the community together, and they did sort of push that a great deal.
I think that is the thing. You get in the sense that the PlayStation 4 Pro is just like you say, like the same way that you've got an iPhone 7 and an iPhone 7 Plus.
Yeah.
It's like there's a few more little extra accoutrements that will just go, oh, that's worth spending that little £350 to go and get.
Yeah, that's what I think's the idea.
Obviously, I was going to ask you, would you wait a year? Are you prepared to wait a year and see what comes out from Xbox and then make a decision? But obviously,
so I trotted home with a receipt for my pre-order today. So, but yeah, I mean, so they're doing some pretty peculiar things with it. I don't know. The conference, man. I mean, I found this conference really, really weird. There was just some strange things going on.
The only thing that I saw from it, sorry to interrupt, but the only game that was like, wow, that's great, I need to see some of that, was Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda, because I hadn't seen fuck all at E3. I saw some developers working on computers.
But you want to see some gameplay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so the gameplay that they showed was just your character walking around.
Just to sell a 4K TV.
No.
Yeah.
No. They wanted to show gameplay, and everyone was like, holy shit, here's the fucking gameplay.
Yeah.
It's the guy walking around in a non-combat area with no NCPs.
Just hopping about and
hopping from point to point.
But
we've got jump now.
There was one line that I did pick up from that I saw about a minute of the video, and it's just like, you really need to be in a 4K display to appreciate this.
Yeah. So all the way through the whole of the conference, they kept saying, look, we've got displays at this end which are 4K. We're not streaming it in 4K, let alone whether you've got a TV at the other end to receive it in 4K. We are going to put files up online later that you can go watch and download in 4K if you have a 4K TV to be able to watch it. But they just like every 10 minutes, because they're aware obviously that people may jump into the conference and jump out again.
Let us not beat around the bush. They're aware of there is the thing called the internet, and idiots on said internet are just sort of, no, I've not prepared to put in the research and understanding that's required of me. But yet still going to have my little flaming opinion and just
So they've had to pepper the whole thing with going, you can't see this, you can't see this.
That society always has to account for the dumbest of its
exactly
citizens.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. But I mean, I don't know. I've always not particularly liked Andrew House when he presents.
Seems very dull, man.
Yeah, he just doesn't really do it for me. And
I bet he's really good at Scrabble.
Yeah, I'm sure. But he doesn't really make me think, do you know what, this guy loves to game.
Well, Jack Tretton. Or Trenton?
Trenton, yeah.
He was great. He had at least some energy and some charisma.
And Phil Spencer also, and we're not just bigging up Xbox here, but Phil Spencer, you look at this guy, he's quite casual, quite laid back, but you think, I bet he does actually pick up a controller and play like Call of Duty or something.
Do you remember the PlayStation 3 Kevin Butler VP ad? They should just wheel him out again, because that was like the fucking greatest ever like series of adverts.
Yeah,
I used to love, because we never used to get them over here, and you'd see it online and be like, yeah, Kevin Butler ads.
Larry Herb, Major Nelson.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't play video games. He's not got a gamer score of 91,000 because he's played it. His game account is definitely played by
kids. Yeah. It's just like, play whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly that. There's no way that guy plays it. But I mean, all in all, I mean, like Andrew House to me isn't particularly strong. Mark Cerny, so this guy's like the lead architect for the PlayStation hardware.
He's PlayStation hardware's hired gun.
Yeah, exactly. He's the serious guy over there, and I would like him to an evil scientist. Possibly sometimes, I don't know, there's something kind of aloof about him.
A supervillain that is yet to have his reason to become villainous.
Yeah, he's that guy who's, if anybody watches Gotham, the TV series, it's like watching the Riddler before he turns into the Riddler. Or Edward Nygma. But yeah, I mean, the whole conference came across really amateurish, and they do it every time. Sony's conferences are not polished at all. They are bollocks. I mean, like, one point so they kept having microphone issues all the way through, and at one point when the microphones dropped off, there's a guy up on stage talking about his game. You can hear him go in the background, and all you can hear is who's ever on the camera next to the microphone go, I think he's having a microphone issue. Yeah, we can't hear him. Oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like, and it's just like, oh my god. And then they released the video, knowing that was in the recording, then they uploaded it onto the internet.
Nice.
So that was Sony's official video from their website of their press conference was someone going, he's having microphone problems. It's like, really, guys, what are you doing? So all in all, I mean, the conference kind of, I don't know, left me in a weird place about how they did the short 45 minutes and then the interviews.
It was always going to be a weird one though, wasn't it? It's not going to be something like E3 where it's a big song and dance and bells and whistles and we've got to announce loads of new stuff. Kind of everyone knew what was coming and it was always to show off the pro.
The bit which made me laugh the most was how many people choked, and I mean this is not like people they're interviewing from other like the developers or something like that. The people who work for Sony who have been practicing this conference,
who should have had this
over
pitch
and over again,
sort of...
they should have this down pat, and then they're going the PS4, the PlayStation 4 Pro, the PS4 Pro, just choking on this name. Everyone.
Do you reckon though it was the same way that normally that most companies hire someone that's good at doing these things, like speaking to cameras and stuff like that, and being a personality. Instead of doing that, someone's come in and thought, no, let's get some real workers. Like people that are used to being stuck behind computers or behind machines.
No, I mean the guy who's leading one of the guys who's leading the after conference interviews. At one point, there was another microphone issue with one of the guys who he wanted to ask a question to, and he went, "First of all, I'm going to go to you, John," or whatever his name was, and the guy went, "Yep," but the problem was instead of saying "yep," he went, and they realised he couldn't hear, and he went, "So. My question," and this is probably like what my podcast or our podcast is like sometimes, was like, "So, my question is that and he's watching the guy trying to fix the microphone. I guess what you're saying, or I mean, where are you at with how you feel about the..." And he's waiting for this micro, and it's just going on for ages, and you're like, "Oh my god, just please put him out of his misery or start the thing again, whatever." Just
it's brilliant.
They choked massively, but anyway.
So the conference was a bit of a shambles then.
It's always fucking Mickey Mouse with Sony. Yeah. It's so Mickey Mouse, and that's not saying it's Disney. It's just shit.
So I suppose then the post conference was where the real meat of the info.
Yeah. So there was a lot going on with the interviews with sort of the actual game developers themselves. And also with Mark Cerny, and I found some really the interview with Mark Cerny was really, really interesting.
Well, the thing is though, he is a really, really very knowledgeable,
very
smart
knowledgeable guy. Yeah, he knows hardware.
Yeah,
he really knows it, and he talks about it casually, but when he gets to particular parts of the technology, you can see him sort of tip his hat to, actually, you do get this very well about, and you also know behind the scenes, he uses certain statements like, "It works well with our business strategy for this generation." So you also know he's working on numbers as well, and you just think you're putting in what you can afford to put in, and you're trying to get the best out of it.
Well, we all know Sony aren't in a they're not in dire straits, but they're not in any great. Yeah, let's just throw another 500 million into the fucking R&D.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll get it back.
Yeah, they're not cash rich like an Apple or something like that. You know, I think they do suffer a little bit. But I mean, yeah, some of the games. So we saw some of the older games which they were trying to pitch as, hey, if you already own this game's going to look so much better with the next update that we're going to do for it.
A pro patch.
Yeah, exactly that. So
which almost sounds like something you'd go and get from a chemist.
Yeah, exactly.
Now available over the counter. The Pro Patch.
So we saw games like Shadow Mordor was one of the ones.
How'd that look? Because it was already a pretty good looking game on PS4.
Sadly, I can't tell because I've not got the 4K stream at this end, but they were saying it looks really good, and I just thought, it just looks like it. And a lot of the interviews that people said, so one of the other games was Call of Duty, which was there. And playing in 4K, HDR.
But I did see though some of the, like I saw, because I kept trying to go back to the start of the conference because I missed the start on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kept sort of trying to cut back and then going back to where it was, and I caught up with just the only real bit that I saw live was the Call of Duty video. And I have to say though, as much as I was like, meh, Call of Duty, meh, I've said for years they should just go to if they're going to go into the future, just go into space. So you can have some real crazy where you're flying fucking torpedoing through the fucking space shooting at someone.
Yeah, like we're talking...
I've got to get to this ship and...
Talking Moonraker lasers.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit like that.
Proper stupid. And it did look quite good.
So the interviews, one of the particular interviews I saw was on IGN, and they basically just said, I saw it, and did it blow my head off about how amazing it was? It was like, no, it looked really clean, and he was saying that it was very much it felt like a high-end PC version of the game.
Yeah.
So
you can get that from, like you say, the lighting and the effects and blah blah blah, the texturing and whatnot. But so, again, to be able to appreciate it, we couldn't really.
So we just have to take it in faith.
Because what's your Mac screen? What's that output? Is that 2K? Is it or?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because you get some of those. They just bolt two 2Ks together to get a 4K monitor, don't you?
There we go. But yeah, so. I don't know. All in all, some of the interviews, for me, they started off trying to be very much like, what do you reckon of the hardware? And it was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It allows me to do some stuff. So anyway, my game, and there's lots of that going on.
Right, I've done your bullshit. I'm here for I've answered your bullshit questions. Now I'm here for mine. Plug.
Yeah.
Plug.
I love some of the shoehorning as well. So it's like,
plug.
So. Wow, I'm really caught up on these visuals behind us. Maybe you can talk me through it, that sort of shit going on. So, Rise of the Tomb Raider, they're doing an Ultimate Edition now. Yeah. They're saying it really pops. I'm sure it probably does.
Once you've spent 1,500 quid to get the TV.
The bits which were a bit more interesting for me, and it's funny because it did pose that question actually. They said, by them releasing a patch which allows all older games to now run in sort of a more optimal HDR mode.
Well, even if it's a case of it's full 1080 60 frames.
Yeah, so with that, they've opened up a massive catalogue because before it was really YouTube who had the most 4K material, followed by Netflix.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of it. But now you've got the whole back catalogue of Sony's stuff. So is that now given, and because it's a console and that's your hobby of gaming, is that now given reason to start looking at a HDR TV?
This is the thing about it, isn't it? I mean, I've always been a stickler. If it isn't broke, why do I need to replace it? I've only had a HD TV for, 2 years? I bought it about 6 months before I bought my Xbox One.
Yeah.
And I've had that it's about 18 months I've had that. So yeah, I've always been, until there's a point where I need to.
Yeah.
Because I always knew I was going to buy either a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, so I had to get a fucking HD TV to be able to play it. But it's the output, so it's like TV. The fact that you've got a fraction of the TV channels available output at HD.
Yeah, I mean what we're
still not into fucking fully HD. Yeah.
We are at the beginning journey of HDR and 4K.
Jesus Christ. In Japan, certain stations are going to be outputting an 8K signal. Barely 3% of the fucking TV population has a 4K telly. We'll do 8K. Yeah, let's throw that out there.
So we are a ways away, really. Yeah.
But
I mean,
for me,
is it going to push you over the edge to get one sooner?
Is it a PS Pro?
Well, you're going to be a PS4 owner at least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that going to make you look at a HDR TV?
Not really. I'd have to see the effects personally to see if it really goes, wow, I've got to go and spend £1,000.
Do you know what I found quite worrying in some of the pre-interviews is they talked a lot about... So 3 years ago, we were looking at the PS4.
Yeah.
Right? And they were saying about what a phenomenal machine, what a powerhouse this thing was.
What it allows developers to do.
And all the comments, or a lot of the comments which kept resonating, was they kept saying, actually, there's a lot that we can't do with the power of the PS4, but this new PS4 Pro will allow us to, and you just think, we are only 3 years down the line. Now, I know technology moves quickly, but you weren't working on anything back then that you didn't know the scope of the power of technology in the near future.
Yeah, I mean you've got plenty of
because you're working in a budget, aren't you, of a certain amount of technology that you can fit in a value of a console.
Like you say, you can't take it on a singular unit. You've got to look at the sheer size and scale of a manufacturing operation and logistical sites and everything.
But you can't put a $2,000 graphics card into a console, so you know what's coming in the future, pretty much. And they're just saying, we're so limited by the power, but now we can do this. And you just think, really, guys?
Well, then,
really?
Yeah, and then in a year's time when, like you say, you've now got all of the new AMD and the new NVIDIA architecture. Yeah. When developers start actually taking advantage of that, and then you see the clear barriers between these consoles and what is what's capable in a PC, and it's just a never-ending dick-pissing, fucking grabbing, willy fucking shaking contest.
It is Willy Waving 101, yeah. But do you know what? It's funny because like in some of the interviews, they did say a couple of things which I always hear this in any new releases, any new announcements, sort of conferences. You always hear these sorts of pitches, and at the time you hear it, and you think that's really interesting. That's a great idea, and it never comes to happen. But they say because the console can now read what TV you've got, it can tell what output to put out at. Yeah. They can intelligently use the power of the console. So, if, for example, myself, who hasn't got a 4K TV, I don't have high dynamic range, but I have just pre-ordered a PS4 Pro. They can say, right, if you're going to do that, then possibly we could use the power elsewhere. So, for example, we could look at grunt cluttering. So we could increase the amount of grunts which you've got on the screen because we're not using the power for something else. Yeah. And I thought, that's a really interesting idea. I bet none of you bastards ever do it.
And this is the thing, isn't it?
How much time and energy are you going to put into bespoking my experience because I've got one type of TV, or somebody else who's got just a PS4, or somebody else who's got PS4 Pro with HDR but not or 4K but not HDR?
In that sense, that basically says get a PS Pro, but don't get a 4K telly because it'll be a better console because it'll be capable of more stuff to do inside the game.
Yeah, it's just like...
you look great, but who cares?
What I did find quite interesting, though, is they did say that a lot of the developers all kept saying that high dynamic range, they were pitching this like you wouldn't believe, but high dynamic range is, in effect, a new tool set for them. It becomes an enabler.
It enables a new variety of gameplay mechanics and different...
Yeah, because there's two main points of HDR, isn't there? Which is the
obviously the range of colours and the gamut of colours and the nuances available. So, like you say, blue is a bluer. And, like one of the big games that's really been raving about it is obviously Forza Horizon 3. Yeah. And they can sort of show and how much more luscious it all looks and all this blah blah blah. Yeah. But again, you were saying to me earlier as well, wasn't it? It's the intensity of light, and you can really emphasize de-emphasize.
Yeah, I mean they can make certain parts of the screen 10 times brighter than other parts of the screen. Yeah. Which really allows them to make colours pop.
Like you say, so someone's shining like a bright torch.
Yeah.
So you really emphasise the darkness and the shadows it creates.
It's funny you mentioned that because one of the games which really did that was Days Gone. There's a point where he's stood on top of like this farmhouse area. You've got the horde below him. It's at night time, and he lights up a Molotov cocktail and throws it into the horde. And even through a stream onto an iPad, you could see quite how rich they'd made the fire colours, the oranges and the yellows, and then against like purplies and the darkness and the blacks was, and it was really, I mean, even for that, and like I said, you don't see what they see, but it was very vibrant in just what was being translated through that. So that was quite impressive, and I think that's what a lot of people are pitching. They're saying this HDR allows us to do this.
I think the thing is with the PS Pro, I remember I was playing my Xbox and PS3 for a standard def TV for years and years. Mm-hmm. And at not one point did I think, do you know what, I really, really wish I had a high definition TV. Because it still looks really great.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. It's that thing about, do you know what? Some technology stands and holds its way, and it's like funny because we were talking about audio jacks earlier on in the iPhone 7 or not having it, but there's some stuff which just seems to transcend ages. You know, like still a lot of people still with their was it the 3-colour cables for their audio on the back?
Oh the old composite.
Composite,
Was it component? I can never remember. No, it is composite. proponent to all of them.
Yeah.
Because you get all of the audio and all the visual RGB bollocks.
But yeah, I mean, so, there was lots of stuff like that which just generally, for me, was like, I'm getting mixed messages here as to what this is all
Did
about.
they touch upon VR at all with it?
Funny you say that. So there was two things that I noticed were massively missing. One being VR and the other one being the Vita. You know, we talk about.
Well, everyone knows that they couldn't give a shit about the Vita.
They're done with
Literally,
that.
the Vita's just barely a remote play controller.
Yeah.
Or we've got a game on the PlayStation Plus if you want to play it.
Yeah.
You got it. It's free.
Can I just say there's far too many P's knocking around in the Sony camp right now. PlayStation Plus, PS Vita, PlayStation 4, PS Pro,
the PS4, the PS4P, the PSP, the PSPV,
yeah,
the PS3,
yeah,
the PS2,
PS1,
PSX,
yeah,
the PSTV,
man, I need a P,
and the PSVR,
yeah,
the PS Move,
PlayStation Play,
the PlayStation Plus,
yeah,
so
Play
there's
TV,
yeah.
So yeah, a couple of P's knocking around, but yeah, I mean, just there's some weird shit. One of the other things that I really struggled with the sort of the whole lack of VR was Mark Cerny alluded to something, and he used some very specific wording. We always have to bear in mind that any of the pre-recorded interviews, they are going to, well, I hope they were vetted, and it's prescribed questions with prescribed answers.
Of course.
And one of the things they said, how do you see this working? How do you see the PS4 Pro? No, I'm choking on it. The PS4 Pro working with VR, and he said, we anticipate seeing higher resolutions and things running better.
Yeah.
Not things, but that was it. But the anticipate bit said to me, you are not, you haven't got the results, or you're not willing to say it, or you're not putting your stake in the sand on this. And I start to wonder, is this because you're concerned that actually, if they find out that it doesn't work well or doesn't add great value, you don't need a PS Pro to run. It doesn't.
If there's not going to be any visual gain, is there going to be any point for you to cancel or not buy a fucking or get rid of your PlayStation 4
do you
to get
need,
the Pro?
Is the HoloLens or the Microsoft equivalent going to once again do the whole, we got 6 teraflops, wallop, and you don't have to worry, because the VR comes with a separate little box, so it's going to be able to run with the Pro. It's just like
it's they are clearly marketing the Pro as just basically it's just a PlayStation 4 with a bit
on
of extra.
Steroids. Yeah, exactly that.
If you've got a 4K telly, gravy.
Yeah, I guess so. All in all, it didn't make me feel particularly good about it. Mark Cerny also said that and there is a part in the interviews where he says, releasing a console mid-cycle, blah, 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 we recognise we wanted to do blah, blah, blah. And I thought, so you're admitting now you're mid-cycle. So you're also admitting that in 3 to 4 years' time, we're going to see the PlayStation 5 or the PS5, which now makes me think, do I want to put my hand in my pocket right now for what is my secondary console, not my primary console? Different is the Xbox, because that's why like our friendship community's on, But as it's my secondary backup console, do I really want to buy one now? Answer is yes, because I've got a pre-order.
Yeah.
But it did make me think that. It sort of alluded to how long this thing really was going to live for.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point. I think the thing is, if, like we're talking with the Scorpio, if you're going to start upgrading the console cycle more intermittently, then you need to make sure that there's backwards compatibility. And there needs to be this sort of, I mean, everyone's going for this thing now, like the iOS kind of started with this whole unified system that you can...
Yeah. Everywhere you go.
You've got that one 6 years ago. Well, the stuff that you got for that 6 years ago should still be okay.
Yeah.
You can still run that now, it's fine, don't worry. And I kind of think that if they're going to go for this whole system, then great. But if it's going to start this trend of every 3 years you're going to get a new console, and then they're going to make no new games, all they're going to do is just re-release fucking the 4K version of Modern Warfare.
Well, this is it. And the thing which is going to happen also is that, so Microsoft kind of, they fucked up. So in the previous generation, Sony basically said these PS3s were, for every one you buy for 400 quid, it's costing us £800 to make it, right? And they did that for the first year and a half, just to kind of say, here's our console, we want it out of the market.
Yeah.
And they suffered the slings and arrows of that. And sometimes console makers do that. Right at the beginning, they go, we're not going to make anything on this, but in a few years' time, when we get the components cheaper, we've got a run rate, steady state making, all that jazz. But what they did quite smartly in this generation, which Microsoft didn't do with Xbox, is they actually made sure that they could make the PS4 and still make a profit on it.
Well, they've taken a leaf out of Nintendo's book, which is why Nintendo, even in the dire straits that they are at the moment with sales and or lack of, they've still got a fair old chunk of change in the bank to go, do you know what? It's right.
So for the 40 million odd consoles or however many odd units they've sold now, they've made a nice profit on that. Where Xbox have kind of gone, do you know what? We've been shafted, we've been on the back foot all the way through. Throw a load of money at it, guys. We made ourselves look like prats earlier on when we were going on about DRM and all this sort of stuff. We've got to beg our players to come back to us.
They've had to go in with an awful lot of goodwill, and
they've thrown money at this thing.
What the British termed as hearts and minds back in the 50s.
Yes, that's right. They've
like,
got a war.
I can't remember who it was or what book I was reading. There's a British guy turned to an American guy. It's like, the thing is you chaps don't understand is you're not supposed to go in there and kick the indigenous bastards to and fro. You're supposed to give them sweets and food.
Yeah.
They then not like you, then they stop trying to fucking shoot you in the back.
They become your army. So exactly. But so all in all, I know, bit of a weird one for me. Final thoughts for you on the conference as a whole. What did you think?
A bit disappointed about the VR not being a bit more of a here's what it can do, what it could potentially, even if it's in potential, what sort of things and reasons to actually buy a 1,500 quid TV and a VR headset and a PS Pro and spend, like say, drop $2,000 on a whole new system.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough for that for me. And again, the games, it was very much just, it kind of looks pretty. We'll explain it. And Mark Cerny, whilst he's a very intelligent man and he's Sony's Billy the Kid when it comes to getting software running and hardware running well, he's not a good guy to have up on stage and like talking about the Spider-Man. It looked really great, but I just felt like falling asleep. I was like nodding off. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I was watching this.
I'm going to be brutal, and this is really stereotyping, but first thing first, the conferences are always bollocks. They need to learn how to present, or just pay somebody else to go up there and present and just wheel out the high rollers at the right time and go, we love it.
Look at Ubisoft have got off to a pretty winning formula. Get older Aisha Taylor in. She's done their E3s for the last few years and she generally knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, or the other option is go the way Nintendo and do a direct.
Yeah.
Pre-record everything and listen to it and watch it first.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, okay, but all in all,
we kind of saw it as pretty much everything that we saw came to fruition.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, for me, overall...
you've got your receipt.
I'm just going to say, Sony, get your shit together. So there we are, folks, for another week. Now, this was a monster podcast, so if you listen to us all the way through, well done. Good
Biggie.
effort.
Good job, Biggie.
Yeah, good job, Biggie. But, a busy week. So, as always, I would say from Angry Link, it's...
Back to the decorating.
And from me, it's... To Destiny!